Long before humans walked the earth, the planet was ruled by giants. The most famous of them all is the Tyrannosaurus rex, the so-called King of the Dinosaurs. With bone-crushing jaws and a terrifying reputation, T-Rex has dominated popular imagination for decades. But what if T-Rex was not the deadliest predator of its time? What if there was a creature so powerful, so fearsome, that even the mighty Tyrannosaurus would have been no match? This is the story of a prehistoric predator more terrifying than T-Rex. A monster hidden in the fossil record. A hunter that reigned before the age of Tyrannosaurus. Its name, Spinosaurus aegyptiacus. Spinosaurus was unlike anything else that ever walked, swam, or stalked the earth. At nearly 60 feet long, it dwarfed T-Rex. Where T-Rex stood tall and muscular, Spinosaurus was long, sleek, and monstrous, a creature adapted to two worlds. It was not just a land predator. It was also a river monster. Half crocodile. Half dinosaur. And all terror. Fossil discoveries suggest that Spinosaurus may have been the largest predatory dinosaur to ever live. Its skull stretched almost 6 feet, filled with cone-shaped teeth designed not to crush, but to grip. Unlike T-Rex, which could shatter bone, Spinosaurus had teeth made for holding slippery prey, massive fish, crocodiles, and anything unfortunate enough to cross its watery domain. But size was only part of the horror. Spinosaurus lived in what is now North Africa, around 100 million years ago during the Cretaceous period. Back then, the Sahara was no desert. It was a lush world of massive rivers, dense forests, and endless swamps. This was Spinosaurus territory. Imagine it. A river stretching for miles. The surface calm, but beneath lurks a shadow larger than a school bus. Silent. Patient. Watching. That shadow is Spinosaurus. And when it strikes, there is no escape. Scientists believe Spinosaurus was the first known swimming dinosaur. Unlike T-Rex, it had adaptations that made it a deadly aquatic hunter. Its long, paddle-like tail worked like a giant fin, propelling it through water with terrifying speed. Its nostrils sat high on its skull, so it could breathe while mostly submerged. Its dense bones helped it stay underwater, stalking prey like a crocodile. But on land, it was no less fearsome. With powerful forelimbs ending in giant claws, it could slash, grab, and drag victims into the water. Its bite, while not as bone-crushing as T-Rex, was perfect for holding and shaking prey until it drowned. And then, there was the sail. The most iconic and mysterious part of Spinosaurus was the enormous sail-like structure on its back. Formed by elongated spines, some reaching over 6 feet tall, the sail stretched along its body like a jagged, monstrous banner. What was its purpose? Scientists debate. Some believe it was used for display, to intimidate rivals or attract mates. Others think it helped regulate body temperature, like a giant solar panel. But there's another possibility. The sail may have broken up the outline of Spinosaurus when viewed from above, camouflaging it in the water as it prepared to ambush. Whatever the reason, the sail made Spinosaurus look like no other predator in history. Alien. Otherworldly. Unstoppable. Now imagine being a creature in its world. A giant sawfish swims near the riverbank. The water ripples. Suddenly, a long snout bursts upward, teeth sinking deep into the fish's body. With one violent thrash of its tail, Spinosaurus drags the catch beneath the surface. The struggle is brief. The river turns red. Silence returns. This was daily life in Spinosaurus territory. It did not need to chase herds of dinosaurs across plains like T-Rex. It controlled the rivers, and the rivers were the lifeline of the ecosystem. Every creature needed water. Every creature risked becoming prey. And that is what made Spinosaurus more terrifying than T-Rex. T-Rex was a land tyrant, yes. But Spinosaurus was a ruler of two worlds. Where land met water, it reigned supreme. But Spinosaurus is not just terrifying because of what it was. It is terrifying because of what we still don't know. Unlike T-Rex, which has dozens of skeletons discovered, Spinosaurus fossils are rare, fragmented, and incomplete. The first Spinosaurus bones were discovered in Egypt in 1912 by German paleontologist Ernst Stromer. Unfortunately, those fossils were destroyed during World War II in a bombing raid over Munich. For decades, Spinosaurus was a mystery, reconstructed only from Stromer's notes and sketches. Then, in the early 21st century, new discoveries in Morocco began to change everything. Fossil hunters uncovered parts of its jaws, claws, and eventually its massive tail. These finds revealed a creature unlike anything paleontologists had ever imagined, a dinosaur built for water. But even now, the picture is incomplete. Every new fossil discovery changes the way we think about Spinosaurus. And with each change, it becomes clear. This was no ordinary dinosaur. This was a nightmare given flesh. Let's step back for a moment. When people imagine prehistoric predators, they think of T-Rex, the ultimate killer, the giant lizard king. But T-Rex lived around 66 million years ago, in North America. Spinosaurus lived 30 million years earlier, on another continent. They never met. And yet, if they had, the battle would have been one-sided. Spinosaurus had length. Spinosaurus had reach. Spinosaurus had the environment on its side. In rivers and swamps, T-Rex would have been nothing more than another meal. That's the terrifying truth. The king of the dinosaurs might not have been king at all. There was another predator, bigger, stranger, deadlier, that deserves the crown. And we are only just beginning to uncover its secrets. The rise of Spinosaurus tells us something important about evolution. Predators are not just defined by size or strength. They are defined by adaptation. By mastery of their world. And Spinosaurus was perfectly adapted to its world. It could crush fish the size of cars. It could challenge crocodiles for dominance. It could strike terror into anything that came near the water. It was not simply a hunter. It was the ultimate ambush predator. When you look at T-Rex, you see power. When you look at Spinosaurus, you see something else. You see a monster that doesn't just attack. It waits. It plans. It lurks. And that is far more terrifying. To truly understand the terror of Spinosaurus, we need to imagine the world it ruled. 100 million years ago, the Sahara was not endless dunes of sand. It was a place of life. Giant rivers crisscrossed the landscape, bordered by forests teeming with strange plants. Towering ferns, conifers, and cycads formed green walls on the banks. The air was heavy, wet, and hot. Dragonflies with wingspans as wide as birds hovered above. Reptiles, amphibians, and dinosaurs all crowded near the water. And in those rivers, monsters swam. Sawfish longer than cars. Crocodile-like beasts armored with bone plates. Giant coelacanth, ancient fish that looked almost identical to the ones that still survive today. This was not just a river. It was an arena. And at the very top of this deadly ecosystem was Spinosaurus. The presence of Spinosaurus changed everything. When it slipped silently through the water, prey had little chance to escape. Unlike land predators, it didn't need to chase. It could stalk. It could wait. It could strike with speed and precision. Its long, narrow snout was lined with conical teeth perfect for gripping slippery prey. Scientists compare it to the mouths of modern crocodiles. And just like crocodiles, Spinosaurus's jaws snapped shut with brutal force. Its teeth were not serrated like T-Rex's. They didn't slice. They held. And when Spinosaurus held you, you didn't get free. But Spinosaurus was not limited to fish. The rivers and swamps were crowded with other creatures, and anything that came too close risked becoming a target. A young dinosaur stopping to drink. A crocodile resting on the bank. Even pterosaurs swooping down for a catch. All could vanish in an instant when Spinosaurus lunged from below. This hunting style is what made Spinosaurus so terrifying. It didn't rely on brute force alone. It relied on the element of surprise. Most land predators must be seen before they attack, charging from the trees, or chasing across open ground. But Spinosaurus struck from where you least expected, beneath the surface. Imagine standing by the water's edge. You lean down for a drink. The water looks still. Then, without warning, the surface explodes. A massive snout bursts upward. Teeth clamp down. Before you can scream, you're dragged beneath. The water churns red. Silence follows. And the river claims another victim. This was the nightmare world of Cretaceous North Africa. And Spinosaurus was the nightmare maker. But ruling a river kingdom was not easy. Spinosaurus had rivals. Some of the most dangerous creatures in its environment were not dinosaurs at all. There was Sarcosuchus, nicknamed the Super Croc. This prehistoric crocodile grew over 35 feet long and weighed up to 8 tons. It had jaws capable of crushing bone and could take down almost anything in its path. If Spinosaurus was the ruler of the rivers, Sarcosuchus was the rival king. Then there was Crocodile-like, a massive land predator that reached lengths of nearly 45 feet. It was one of the largest carnivorous dinosaurs ever discovered, with serrated teeth designed to slice through flesh. Unlike Spinosaurus, Crocodile-like hunted on land, preying on giant herbivores like sauropods. But their territories likely overlapped, meaning these two giants may have faced each other at the water's edge. And finally, there were the giant fish. Species like Onchopristis, with long saw-like snouts covered in spikes, could injure or even kill a predator careless enough to attack. Spinosaurus was king, yes. But it was a king in a land of monsters. So how did Spinosaurus survive in this brutal environment? Adaptation. Where Crocodile-like dominated the plains, Spinosaurus claimed the rivers. Where Sarcosuchus ambushed from the shallows, Spinosaurus could swim into deeper waters. It didn't need to compete directly, it carved its own niche. This ability to thrive in a specialized environment is what set it apart. T-Rex may have been powerful, but it was limited. It was a land hunter, bound to the herds of hadrosaurs and ceratopsians it preyed upon. Spinosaurus, however, had access to a constant, renewable food source, fish. And in an ecosystem overflowing with aquatic life, Spinosaurus could grow larger, stranger, and more terrifying than any other predator. But Spinosaurus's reign was not just about hunting. It was about survival in an unforgiving world. The rivers of North Africa were not peaceful. They flooded. They dried. They shifted course. A predator had to adapt or die. Spinosaurus's strange body tells the story of this adaptation. Its dense bones acted like ballast, helping it stay submerged. Its long, muscular tail provided thrust, making it one of the only dinosaurs capable of true swimming. Its nostrils sat far back, allowing it to breathe while stalking prey with most of its body hidden underwater. Even its sail may have played a role, perhaps signaling to rivals in the murky water or helping regulate its temperature in the scorching sun. Every feature of Spinosaurus was a weapon. Every part of its body had a purpose. It was a predator designed not by brute force, but by precision. And that precision made it deadly even to creatures its own size. Picture this. A Spinosaurus and a Sarcosuchus meet at the river's edge. Both are massive. Both are hungry. The crocodile lunges, jaws wide. But Spinosaurus is faster. Its claws slash downward, tearing into flesh. Its jaws clamp on the croc's body, dragging it into deeper water where the crocodile cannot fight back. The river becomes a battlefield. And Spinosaurus emerges victorious. Or imagine an encounter with Crocodile-like. On land, the land predator would have the advantage. But near the water? Spinosaurus could retreat into its domain, waiting until its rival ventured too close. Then, with a burst of speed, it would strike from the river like a living spear, pulling the land hunter into a world where it had no power. This was the secret of Spinosaurus. It didn't need to win every fight. It only needed to control the battlefield. And the battlefield was water. But here's where Spinosaurus becomes truly terrifying. It was not just the largest predatory dinosaur ever discovered. It was also one of the most mysterious. For decades, paleontologists argued about how it looked, how it hunted, even how it walked. Did it move on two legs like T-Rex? Or did it walk on all fours, like some nightmarish reptilian hybrid? The answers have shifted with every new fossil discovery. Some reconstructions show it towering upright, a sail-backed monster looming over the forest. Others show it low and crocodile-like, moving with a lumbering, sinister grace. The truth may lie somewhere in between. But that uncertainty makes it even scarier. Because we cannot fully picture it. We cannot fully understand it. We only know it was unlike anything else to ever exist. Think about that for a moment. We live in an age where we can map genomes, explore the bottom of the ocean, and peer across the universe. And yet, one of Earth's greatest predators remains a mystery. We don't know exactly how it hunted. We don't know exactly how it lived. We don't even know exactly what it looked like. That is the haunting power of Spinosaurus. It's not just a dinosaur. It's an unanswered question. A shadow that looms across time. A reminder that Earth has produced monsters beyond our imagination. And this brings us back to the comparison with T-Rex. Yes, T-Rex had the strongest bite force of any land predator. Yes, it was powerful, fast, and terrifying in its own right. But T-Rex was predictable. We know how it hunted. We know what it ate. We know how it lived. Spinosaurus, on the other hand, is an enigma. A predator that broke the rules. A dinosaur that blurred the line between reptile, crocodile, and fish. It was not simply a hunter. It was a phantom. And that makes it more terrifying than T-Rex ever could be. Spinosaurus ruled the rivers of North Africa for millions of years. But like all empires, its reign eventually came to an end. The question is, why? The fossil record offers only fragments of an answer. The world of the mid-Cretaceous was unstable. Rivers shifted. Seas rose and fell. Entire ecosystems disappeared, leaving predators like Spinosaurus without the food sources they depended on. And when you're as massive as Spinosaurus, a predator requiring enormous amounts of food to survive, losing your primary food supply is catastrophic. Fish populations may have collapsed. River systems may have dried or changed course. Competition with other predators may have intensified. Slowly, inevitably, Spinosaurus vanished from the fossil record. But its disappearance left behind one of the greatest mysteries in paleontology. Because unlike T-Rex, which is represented by dozens of complete skeletons, Spinosaurus remains a puzzle pieced together from scattered bones. Every new discovery reshapes our vision of this predator. And every discovery makes it more terrifying. Let's consider the most haunting question of all. What if Spinosaurus had survived? Imagine Earth without the asteroid impact that wiped out the dinosaurs 66 million years ago. Imagine the rivers of Africa continuing to flow, teeming with fish and crocodile-like beasts. In such a world, Spinosaurus might have continued evolving, adapting, and dominating. Could it have grown even larger, rivaling whales in size? Could it have spread beyond rivers into coastal seas, becoming a true marine predator? Could it have hunted not just fish, but giant marine reptiles, sharks, and even early mammals venturing near the water? It's speculation, yes. But it's also a chilling thought. Because if Spinosaurus had survived, it might have remained the greatest predator Earth has ever known. Yet even in extinction, its shadow lingers. Spinosaurus has become a symbol of the unknown. Of how much we still have to learn about the prehistoric world. Of how much mystery hides in the rocks beneath our feet. For decades, T-Rex reigned supreme in our imagination. Movies, books, and documentaries all crowned it the King of Dinosaurs. But Spinosaurus has begun to challenge that throne. Part of that comes from science. As new fossils emerge, our understanding of Spinosaurus grows more detailed and more shocking. But part of it comes from something deeper, something primal. Spinosaurus is not just a predator. It's an alien. A creature that doesn't fit neatly into the categories we expect. Not fully land-dwelling. Not fully aquatic. Not fully understood. That sense of the unknown is what makes it terrifying. Think about the environment it ruled. You walk along a swampy riverbank, heat pressing down like a weight. The air buzzes with insects the size of your hand. Somewhere in the trees, a giant pterosaur screeches. The water looks calm, almost inviting. Then the surface breaks. A sail rises. A long, narrow skull pushes through the water. Teeth gleam in the sunlight. The largest predator to ever live emerges before you. And in that moment, you realize the truth. You are not at the top of the food chain. You never were. That's the horror of Spinosaurus. It's not just about size or power. It's about dominance in an environment humans could never control. It's about the reminder that once, long ago, Earth was not ours. It belonged to monsters. And even today, echoes of Spinosaurus remain. Look at a crocodile lurking in the shallows. Look at a great white shark striking from below. Look at the barracuda, the alligator gar, the giant catfish. Each is a living reminder of the ambush predator's legacy. Each carries a fragment of the terror that Spinosaurus embodied. We may never see Spinosaurus alive, but we live in a world still shaped by the predators that came before it. Its adaptations, patience, stealth, and precision are the same tools used by the deadliest hunters of today. The monster may be gone, but its shadow stretches into the present. So, was Spinosaurus truly more terrifying than T-Rex? The answer lies in how we define terror. T-Rex was a beast of brute strength, a land tyrant whose power was obvious and overwhelming. It was terrifying in the way a charging tank is terrifying. But Spinosaurus? Spinosaurus was different. It was stealth. It was patience. It was unpredictability. It was a predator that could strike from where you least expected, dragging you into a world where you had no hope of survival. That is a deeper kind of terror. Not just the fear of being attacked, but the fear of the unknown. The fear of what lurks just out of sight. The fear of the monster beneath the surface. And perhaps that is why Spinosaurus still fascinates us. It is the predator that breaks the rules. The predator that refuses to fit into our categories. The predator that defies our imagination. When you hear the name T-Rex, you think you know what it means. But when you hear the name Spinosaurus, you wonder. You picture the sail. The snout. The claws. The shadow beneath the water. And you realize, this was something more terrifying than the King of Dinosaurs. This was a true monster of prehistory. But the story of Spinosaurus is not over. Even now, fossils are being uncovered in the sands of Morocco and Egypt. Each new discovery reveals more about its body, its lifestyle, and its secrets. And each new discovery leaves us with more questions. Will we one day find a complete skeleton? Will we confirm exactly how it walked, how it hunted, how it looked? Or will Spinosaurus remain forever an enigma, a half-seen shadow in the fossil record, refusing to give up all its secrets? Either way, one truth remains unshakable. For millions of years, Spinosaurus ruled its world. And in many ways, it still rules ours, in our imaginations, in our nightmares, in the stories we tell about monsters from the deep. So the next time you think of T-Rex, remember this. The king may have ruled the land. But in the rivers, in the swamps, in the dark waters of prehistory, there was another. A predator longer. A predator stranger. A predator more terrifying. Its name was Spinosaurus. And it was the true terror of the prehistoric world.